Hey everybody, it's Mr. K. This week we're going to talk about time signatures. Now we've looked at these before, right? We looked at this last week and we had the 4/4, and that's really all that I addressed was that, the 4 tells us how many beats are in a measure. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. So again, four beats in a measure, and our measure is this right here. And there are multiple measures in a song. And we read them like we read a book. We read it from left to right as we're going. In the time signature, though, this number is the one that we really want to talk about today. We know this one. This one tells us the one thing. There's this many beats in a measure. Okay, so if I have 4 here, 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I have 6 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I have 3 here, 1, 2, 3. This bottom one, though, tells us what type of note is going to get the beat. And I know that sounds confusing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this. And now we have our clean slate. So let's talk about that bottom number. Once again, we had 4/4. We're not worrying about this bottom number or this top number anymore. We know it. Okay, it tells us this one is what we're going to look at today. Now, what note gets the beat? Well, when it's 4/4, we already know what note gets the beat, right? It's our quarter note. Okay, when we have 4/4, we have 4 quarter notes in a measure. That's where we get our whole note, which takes up the whole measure. But this can change. Okay, I'm going to do a different one over here. Let's say we have 4/2. What this means is that the half note is going to get the beat now. So instead of the quarter note, we're going to have a half note, which means there's going to be 4 half notes in every measure. Okay, which is kind of like 8 quarter notes in the measure, right? Another one we can look at is if we have 4, whoops, that's not far enough over, Mr. K, 4/1. Well, if that's a whole note, right, that means the whole note, it gets the beat. But there's 4 of them in every measure. But again, this top number can change, right? The top number can change to 5 or 12 or whatever. The easiest way to figure this out is to actually take off the top number and replace it with 1. So if I have 4/4, the way I know which note gets the beat is I take this off and I make it a fraction. 1/4, so my quarter note gets the beat. Okay? If I leave that 1 there, sorry, and I take this off, and I put a 2, that fraction is 1/2, so I know my half note gets the beat. And the last one over here, 1/1, well, that's a whole, so my whole note gets the beat. Okay, and then it just tells you how many of those are in a measure. So this would have 4 whole notes in there, 3 whole notes in there. Over here, I could have 4 half notes, or I could make it a little bit bigger and make it 5 half notes. Okay, and that's just what the top number tells us is how many are in there. Okay, the most common one you see is the 4/4, is the quarter notes. But we do occasionally see half notes. And this one is usually 3/2 or 4/2. Okay, just 3 half notes or 4 half notes. I have been doing this for 30 years, and I've never actually seen one that was whatever over 1. So you'll never have to worry about this one at all. I was just showing you because that's how it goes. Okay. Something we haven't quite looked at yet is eighth notes. Okay, and we've been reducing, right? We've had our whole note, we've had our half note, this side. We've had our quarter note. And each time this breaks it down by halves. So this is 4 beats, this one's 2 beats, this one's 1 beat. The next one we're going to look at is called an eighth note. And this one is actually half of a beat. Okay, now I know that seems a little weird to have half of a beat, but Stick with me. If I have my beat going, I know I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. For my half notes, 1, 2. My quarter notes is 1. But how do I do this? Well, what I do is I add something into my beat. Instead of just 1, 2, 3, 4, I stick an and between the numbers. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Each of those is an eighth note. So if I have, let's just pretend that this is a measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I want to connect all of these up. Okay, so this is my measure. Let's put 4 over 4. So this is my measure. I go 1 and 2 and 3. Oops, I'm doing this wrong. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, just right through my beat. If I was going to clap it, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just going right over them, okay? And again, we can mix this in with all the other ones that are up here. Now, what does this mean for time signatures? Well, it opens up a whole new branch of time signature, one that has an 8 on the bottom for eighth note. And this is where we get all sorts of really crazy time signatures. We get ones like 5/8, which means we have 5 eighth notes. Okay, another way to do these is like this. Okay, there's 5 eighth notes in a measure. Or I can have 6/8. That's a terrible 6, Mr. Keepner. Try it again. There we go, 6/8, which means I have 6 eighth notes in a measure. And when I'm counting that, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And every beat is an eighth note. Okay? I've seen ones that go 7/8. Right? 7. I've seen ones that go 9/8. Let's see if I can do this right. 9. Nope, that's a terrible 9, Mr. K. 9. 9. 9. There we go. 9/8. Okay, 12/8. Okay, it all just sort of depends on what the person is writing. Okay, but again, remember, put that 1 on top, and you get what kind of note is the one that gets the beat. So if it's a 4 on bottom, quarter note. Remember, 1 over 4. If it's 2 on bottom, half note, because 1 over 2 is a half. Okay, we don't have to worry about that, but 1 over 8 means it's an eighth note. That has the beat. The last one we're going to talk about is actually one we've already talked about, but it has a different symbol. Okay, the one that we know is 4 over 4. In music, this is also called common time. And we say common time by putting a C here instead of the 4 over 4. Okay, this is something you see in songs that they don't want to waste ink, basically. But common time is 4 over 4. Okay, so if you ever see this symbol at the beginning, it's not telling you anything except this is a 4 over 4 song. Okay, there's another one that's got this line through this. This is called cut time. This is what we see in marches. This is basically 2 over 2. Where the half note gets the beat. Don't worry about this one, about that one though, okay? It's not one we're super concerned about. But it is nice to know. I hope that this short video on time signatures helps you kind of understand how songs work. What's really fun is that if you listen to songs, you can sometimes sort of figure out what time signature you're listening to. Pop songs all have time signatures. Usually they're in 4/4, but sometimes if you can count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's usually a 6/8 song. Sometimes it can be 3/4. It sort of depends on who's writing the music. Alrighty, hope you had fun with this video, and I will see you during your meets later this week. Bye-bye.